Self-worth. It is something we seldom think or even talk about unless it's mentioned. But particularly when it is not, it plagues the very fragility of the human brain because it lurks within the shadows of your own subconscious mind. Now, why am I saying all this? I had a reality check just recently, and it is something that I will never forget or fail to take into account. I won't give fine details. I won't give the identity because this is very personal, and this person came to me in confidence and trust in me. So basically, I was streaming Rocket League. I was literally about to close the stream down. And then this guy finds my Twitch stream and, he says hi and doesn't do much else. And then I made a transition into like my goals for Twitch and how I was really impressed with my growth and all that. And like what kind of impact I want to make on Twitch. And I was talking about my self-worth. And then he leaves the comment in my chat that he doesn't feel like he's worth anything. And because of that, the fact that there are 7.6 billion people on this planet, it absolutely would not matter if he took his own life. And like when you're streaming and somebody says that, you kind of have a small internal panic attack, which I did my best to conceal. So I wanted to find an appropriate segue from gameplay to, this conversation, because when somebody says that in complete honesty, and you may not even know if it's complete honesty because it's, a chat, it's only via text, but when somebody says that, it scares you a little bit. And I was like, geez, dude, like, are you okay? But I didn't go about it like that. I decided to take a very a loving and a very nurturing uh, attitude with it. So I'm just like, dude, like, what's up? And he was, explaining why he felt like he wasn't worth anything. And before you know it, it's pretty much tied down to material things and society's perception of a particular human being or a group of human beings. And that frustrates me so much because self-worth should not be of materialistic things and society's perception of you. That's not where self-worth should come from. Especially material things. These things are temporary. Like, if it's destroyed, that thing is no more. If you die, everything is no more. You have no access to it any longer. Regardless of what happens, material things do stop existing for you, or you stop existing for them. But that's not where self-worth should come from. Within its name, it should come from you. And so, like I said, it's very frustrating to me when somebody sees themselves as less than what they actually are because somebody else said it. Like, oh, if you don't have this, you're not cool. You're fucking weird. Oh, if you don't do this, you're not cool. You're not one of us. And that's a very brief sort of explanation of what society sees some people as. And, like, it's really hard sometimes. I have problems with this as well. It's very hard sometimes to separate yourself from society and realize that society does not make you you. And it takes perspective to take a step back and say, okay, well, this is what society and this is what group A and group B are saying about me. But what am I actually? And you need to take the time to understand yourself. And when you understand yourself, you will find self-worth. It doesn't matter how you do it, be it you express a talent or some unique ability that you have or otherwise. It doesn't matter how you do it. I'll give you an example. Growing up, I was depressed for sure. To this day, not like it. It doesn't affect my life, but uh, clinically, I was diagnosed with minor depression. And, it's something that I can easily deal with. It's not something that bothers my life because I actively choose not to allow it. But, growing up, I was depressed and I went through some hard shit. It was incredibly difficult. And, I had people bullying me in high school in the United States. And it was every single day for the most petty and most stupid of shit possible. Like some of the shit they were making fun of me for didn't even make any sense. So right off the bat, I ignored it. But it just goes to show what people will try to single you out or make you feel less for. But some people can't ignore it like that. So anyway, I was people were making fun of me and bullying me for all sorts of bullshit that didn't really matter. And like I said, I got caught up in it and I got really depressed. I thought this is how I'm going to be seen for the rest of my life. And so I got really depressed and I was really sad. And it just wasn't a good time. But something happened that literally, quite literally changed my life. Um, I got more into music. And specifically, I got into DJ Searle, who makes a lot of really good happy hardcore tracks. And, I started listening. I'm like, all right, this is pretty good. I like this stuff. But it just sort of stuck to me the second I first listened to Pretty Rave Girl. Just like the energy, the atmosphere, the lyrics, the sound, it all resonated with me. And so I quickly became obsessed with this thing that I had discovered that had already been here since the 1980s. Imagine that. And it just stuck with me like a magnet. And I became so obsessed that I started looking for ways to make my own. I wanted to learn. And eventually I found FL Studio. The first time I started using it was FL Studio 9, if memory serves me correctly. And, it was a very slow start. I didn't take any classes. I had to learn all by myself. I had to learn how the program worked. I had to learn how to make melodies, how to put everything together and make a song. And fast forward today, I've been making happy hardcore and hardstyle for nearly 5 years. It'll be 5 years on the 6th of January of 2019. So it's pretty exciting. But back to it. I began, studying, looking at classes maybe, and just looking at YouTube tutorials and just gathering inspiration from here and there, from this song and that song and all over the place, right? So I don't know, I was so obsessed. I would do it for hours each and every day. I still do. I've been doing it for nearly 5 years every single day because I love it so much. But what I was doing through the meantime in my earlier stages, still in high school, my sophomore year to be exact, I was posting it to a to a website called Edmodo, and I got in trouble once for posting a track, but I didn't really care because I got, for a beginner song, I even put like a disclaimer in it and everything. Like I'm learning to make music and all that, and it got a pretty good response. I remember the file that I actually attached. It was called Hydronium Tech Step. That was my first song ever, if you could even call it that. It was just like a four-note octave over and over again with an overlaid drum beat. But, I was proud of that. And people liked the feel of it. And so I'm like, hey, like I made something and these people thought it was, really good for the time that I put into it and the experience that I've had. I really like this feeling. I want to do this some more. And so I began expressing myself through music, through sound. And again, fast forward today, and I make a lot of people happy. So I found my self-worth through my own talent that I had been learning, though slowly. I found self-worth in what I was learning and my ability to make other people smile regardless of how they were feeling. I have that talent. And as I said in a previous video, streaming for Twitch for 4 months has changed me as a person because I'm now able to more comfortably accept compliments and support from other people when usually I would almost shun it because I would be so socially awkward. So I found my self-worth. And when I found it, I hung on to it for dear life. And I haven't let it go to this day. So, yes, you're going to go through a lot of shit. It's going to be hard. It will not be easy. But let me tell you firsthand, from experience, difficult does not mean impossible. Was I close to almost ending it all? Yes, I was very close. But that was many years ago, and that is a point at which I will never return to. Because I will not allow something so petty to interfere with my life. Because I know I'm here for a purpose, and I know I'm going to be here for a long time. And so as long as those two things are cohesive, I'm going to go hard, and I'm going to go big. I'm not going to stop growing. I'm not going to stop trying to inspire people. And I'm not going to stop trying to make people happy. Because whether it be through music, my Twitch streams, my gameplay, or just the words that I say, I have some innate ability to inspire people through my own struggles. And it works. Back to the guy in the Twitch chat. I was telling my chat, spam hearts and, get some love for this guy because he was really sad. He sounded really sad. And Twitch chat was doing their thing, spamming him with all the love. Somebody gifted him a sub, and he said he started crying. And he said he started crying tears of joy because every other streamer and community he was in rejected him and just shrugged it off like it was nothing. But the thing is, within an online platform, you can't necessarily do that because you risk misunderstanding that chat, taking it as facetious when they're telling the truth. And that's not something I'm willing to chance. Because I've been in his position, roughly, to some degree. I've been depressed like that. I felt worthless and useless before. So, if I can use my words and my attitude and my strength, or my strengths rather, that were my weakness, or weaknesses, you can bet your ass I'm going to help someone in the same position. Because, like, why else are we here? We as human beings are kind of shitty a lot of the time, but a lot of us are still really good. So I did my very best to use what was once my weakness as a strength to motivate him to find value within himself. And I did the best that I could. And he said he was absolutely in love with this community, and it was the best one he's ever come across. And that, to me, is really important. So let me generalize this, regardless of your situation, regardless of who you are. Because, it's been a while since I've made a vlog type video. And I wanted to share this with you because I want to document my growth as a content creator, especially one that's receiving so much support, especially as of late. I want to take you guys on this journey that I'm going through because I care about you, and I want, as I said, to not only document my growth, I just want to show you how I'm growing as a person and as a content creator. So I said, allow me to generalize this, regardless of who you are, regardless of how you identify, where you're from, what color you are. Let me generalize this. There are times in your life where it will seem impossible. There are times when you are going to feel like a piece of shit. It's okay. There are times when you will fall due to a moment of weakness. There are times when things are constantly negative. There are times where you're going to struggle greatly and intensely for long periods of time. And it seems like hell on earth, and it feels like you have no other option but to just end it all. Sometimes it can feel like that. Or sometimes it just feels hopeless and you're in this rut. It doesn't necessarily have to end up in suicide, but it can just feel hopeless and negative. The atmosphere isn't nice. It's negative or neutral, which has a negative connotation, so it still feels negative regardless. All the confusing shit included as well. There are going to be times like that. But don't let it get to you. And I know this is easier said than done. I understand completely. And I'm aware that this may sound cheesy and it may sound like, everyone else is saying it, but from experience, I agree with those people that say this. Don't let it get to you. You have the power to make the conscious decision to not allow negative things to impact you in the way that they're supposed to. Right? You have dominion over your own attitude towards things. You do. I know some of you may feel powerless at times, but don't let that seep in. Don't let the feeling of hopelessness, uselessness, get into your mind. Because like I said, it plagues the human brain and it spreads like a disease. And it's very toxic. It's harmful. It makes people do shit that they wouldn't normally do. Depression, negativity is a strange thing. But don't let it get to you. If you think things are just completely hopeless, understand that it's not. Things do happen for a reason. And sometimes you have to go through a little bit of shit to get to the good side. Sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. But you got to get through the mud first. And it's not always pretty. Mud may be fun to play in sometimes, but you don't really want to get stuck and lose a shoe because your foot is stuck a foot in the ground. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you're feeling useless or worthless, I highly encourage you to find something that you're good at and share it with people who have that same interest. Because let me tell you something. It's weird with content creation. Because, usually it's like, oh, people who make YouTube videos, they're so, self-righteous. They spread their video around and self-promo and all that. And then they ask people to see what they think, and then it just, it strokes their ego. Well, no. With content creation, you can see something that you put your heart and soul into, that you put a lot of hard work into, and you can share it with someone else, and then you can literally, physically see the reaction on their face or by their body language, whatever it may be, of the thing that you have created, regardless if it be a song or a video or what have you. I'll give you another example. When I went on tour, with Nuejanan, it was like the full week. I got behind the scenes of, how a music video is made. And it was, content that was both a video and audio. So it was two different platforms within one. And it's going to impact people. So when it was finished and posted to YouTube, and when I saw the comments, when I saw the crowd, when I saw all of the people it affected, and I saw all the smiles, it made me feel like the happiest guy in the world. Because I can look back on that video and say, I did that. I helped impact these people with words of my own. And it's not stroking your ego. It's one of the most fulfilling feelings, in my opinion at least, that you can ever feel. Seeing those people enjoy what they saw. Some people crying, just going straight to tears because of the power that that music video held. It is the most fulfilling, great feeling you can ever experience, because you changed those people's lives in some degree or another. And that to me is what's important. And in terms of content creation, as I said on stream, the shit I do and say now is the very foundation from which people will remember me by. And it is the very foundation from which I will build my community upon. So everything I do and say is important. And so because I made him, the guy in the chat, literally go to tears of happiness because of the stuff I was saying, I got the huge reality check that I needed. And that was, despite being a decently small content creator on YouTube and Twitch, my words have just as much power as someone like PewDiePie or some other really big celebrity. It doesn't matter who you are. It's the words that come out of your mouth. It's the shit that you say to people and how you deliver it. That's important. So, if I'm going to go on this mission, if my goal is to change what it means to be a celebrity, as someone you can look up to and trust, then I better make damn sure that everything I'm saying is the right shit to say. And everything that I'm doing is the right shit to do. Because this is going to impact me in the future. People are going to look at this video and look back on it in the future. And they're going to see my mindset towards all this. They're going to see my mindset towards the whole thing. And it's not going to change. And I believe it is very important. I've said this before too. It is very important to have the proper mindset about things, because that's how you get the right shit done. That's how you reach the right people. That's how you accomplish your goals. So remember, I understand things may be negative now, but they won't be in the future. Find the strength to conquer the problem that you have ahead of you, and you will feel stronger than ever before. Because then, when you reach another problem, you will have the strength to conquer it even better than you did the last one. And so that cycle will continue until the day you die. And that's life. So I encourage you to find strength within yourself, to find worth and value within yourself, because I value you as well. The culmination of one's very being is so precious. It needs to be protected. And if that particular one thing, being that one individual, dies, then that one thing will never ever exist again. And there will be nothing like it, not even close. That's why it's so important that you protect it, because there will only be one of a particular kind of person with a particular set of traits, with a particular set of skills, with a particular set of talents and abilities. That's why it's so precious. So again, I urge you to learn to love yourself and find value within yourself. Find something you're good at and share it with people who have the same interest. That's what I did. It may not help you. You may find some other way, and that's completely fine. Whatever works for you. But that's what helped me. I'm glad that I could have this talk with you guys, because I feel like just having an open conversation, an uncut, raw video for you guys, I feel like this is something I need to do more often. So, thank you everybody for watching. If you have any thoughts or comments, do leave them down in the comments below. Until next time, my name is Mad Cat, and I'm out.